Next year's Formula One grid's going to have a touch of Indian representation with Arvid Lindblad joining Racing Bulls. And he's here with us today to discuss his F1 debut and lots more. Thank you for joining us, Arvid.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to jump straight in, congratulate you for making it to Formula One. It's a huge achievement. I want to know, where were you when you found out that you've made it to Formula One? Where were you when you got that call?
I was in Qatar. It was during the week of Qatar. Yeah, and it was obviously a very special moment. My dad was there with me that weekend. So he was obviously the first person I told. And yeah, obviously, yeah, it was a very special moment. It's something I've been sort of working towards, dreaming of my whole life. So yeah, I was very, very happy to find out about the news.
Right. And with the new regulations coming in next year, do you think it's a bit of an advantage to have? Because everyone starts from zero. Everyone's learning a brand new car.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it's an advantage. I think maybe it's less of a disadvantage. But I don't know. For me, I don't really think about it because it's not really something I can control. It's it's going to be a big challenge for everyone, and I've got a lot to learn. It's going to be very different Formula One, I think, next year. So I'm just focused on working hard with the team over the winter, preparing for next year, utilizing the tests as much as I can, and then we'll see.
Right. And rewinding it all the way to the start, what really ignited your love for motorsport? I know you started off with motocross and then went to karting.
Yeah. So it sort of comes from my paternal side of the family. So my granddad is an avid motorsports fan. He'd watch anything with wheels and an engine. He sort of passed down to my dad. He did a little bit of motocross in his teenage years. And then he wasn't able to do that for very long, but then that sort of passion was passed down to him. So yeah, that started with me. I did start with motocross when I was 3. That didn't last very long. It was a bit too much for my mum. But then, yeah, when I was 5, I went karting for the first time and loved it from the beginning. And yeah, that's how it all started.
And you've had a meteoric rise through the single-seater ranks. I don't think a lot of people realize this, but until over 3 years ago, you were still in karting. Since then, you've become the youngest F3 race winner, youngest F2 race winner. With all of these incredible results, on the flip side, is there that pressure to, live up to expectations?
No, I don't really feel much pressure. In the sense that I'm here for myself. This is what I dreamed of when I started this sort of journey when I was 5, and everything. This is my goal, something I've been working towards, and obviously I'm very, very happy that it's happened. And I'm very grateful to Red Bull, to Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, to the Red Bull Junior program for the support they've given me to help me live my dream. But I don't really feel any pressure to perform from anyone. And I'm here for myself.
And how did the association with Red Bull come about? For a young racer like yourself, how important is it to be part of a junior program like this?
Yeah, it's super important in the current way that the sport is at the moment. There's very few drivers that are able to make the step without the backing of an F1 team. So yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful to the Red Bull Junior program. I got picked up at the end of 2020 when I was 13. So yeah, I've been with them for a long time. This was my 5th year on the program. So I'm obviously very grateful to them for all the help they've given. Everyone in the program, but especially Rocky and Dr. Marco. I wouldn't be where I am without them. What you were saying before, I've come through the ranks very quickly. It's been a big challenge, and without their sort of knowledge and guidance, I wouldn't have been able to make the step like I have. So I'm extremely grateful to both of them and the whole program for the support they've given me. And it's put me in the position I am today.
And I know reigning Formula E world champion Oliver Rowland's played a crucial role in your career as well. What would you say is the most useful piece of advice he's given you?
It's hard to choose one because I've been working with Ollie since I was 7. I mean, he's more like family to me now than anything else. Like really from the beginning he was there. I mean, we made a karting team together in the beginning. He's been coming to a lot of the races recently. So to choose one bit of advice is really difficult because, I mean, he's helped guide me through every step of the ladder.
Right, and I have to come to your now viral clip with Lando Norris. Back in 2021, I think you approached him saying, I want you to remember me, I'll see you in 5 years. What motivated that? And was F1 2026 a goal even back then?
Yeah, it's funny how it's all sort of come back round now. No, I mean, I remember Lando came to the track in 2021. He was launching his own chassis. So he came to one of the races, and I remember I saw him in the paddock, and I was with my friend, and he sort of said to me, I said I wanted to go up to Lando, and he was like, no, you're not brave enough, you haven't got the balls, kind of thing. And I just wanted to prove him wrong. So I went up to Lando, and the first thing that came out was just, "Oh, wait, remember me, I'll see you in 5 years." Um, I got a bit of inspiration from the Lewis Hamilton Ron Dennis story when he told him that he'd drive one of his cars one day. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say I'd calculated it, but I knew what was within reach at that point and how fast I could come through the ranks if I performed well and everything went to plan. And I knew that 2026 was the earliest feasible time. Um, so yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm very, very happy that it's come true. When I started this journey, I was 5. I was extremely determined to get to Formula One. I had that same sort of determination and belief when I was 14 on that day, and I have that same determination now. So obviously, I'm very happy that I've stuck to the timeline, and it's a funny little story now.
And I was checking out your helmet, of course. You've always been very open about how proud you are of your mixed heritage, your mixed roots. Your helmet has the English, Indian, Swedish flags on it. Tell me a little bit about the significance of that, and will we see it on your Formula One helmet as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I'm very proud of my roots. I come from multicultural background. I've lived in the UK my whole life, but I've spent a lot of time in Sweden. I'm now spending more time here in India. From the beginning, I've been, surrounded by Indian culture. My grandparents are both Punjabis. Um, so they're very traditional. They've carried their sort of way of life to the UK. So it's been interesting for me coming to India and seeing how similar it is to what I'm used to. I've grown up loving my nani's Indian food. Eating rajma, chapatis. She used to bring them to track. Celebrating pujas and all that sort of stuff. So it's something I'm very proud of. And for sure I'll be continuing to represent that on my helmet next year.
Awesome. And I know you're returning to India very soon, early next year, for a special project. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, obviously very excited. The news is out about Red Bull Moto Jam. I think it's going to be a really cool event. It's going to be amazing driving an F1 car on the streets of Delhi. Even more special, it's going to be my first show run as a Formula One driver, and doing that here in India with sort of my heritage and background is obviously something I'm very excited about. So yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing event. It's going to be just before the F1 season starts. So really looking forward to coming back to India. And yeah, having some fun.
And I want to discuss your Formula 2 season, of course. You broke a few records, ended up finishing P6. But I think the last time when we spoke, you highlighted this was a crucial year of learning. So, what lessons do you think you're going to take ahead from this season?
I think F2 is so unique. There's it's the sort of penultimate rung on the ladder, on sort of the route to Formula One, but it's so different. A lot of the things that I've had to learn this year in F2, I don't know if they're all translatable to F1, but I think I've learned a lot also about myself on and off track. Working with the team and stuff, I think I've had to learn about that a lot, which is going to be even more important thing in F1. And then on the driving side, it's hard to pick one, because like we were talking about before, I've come through the ranks so quickly that it feels like on all sides I've had to sort of step up and adapt and learn incredibly quickly, that it's hard for me to just say one thing that I really learned through F2, because it felt on all sides I had to sort of learn a lot, which I think will be the same in F1. I don't know. I think the biggest thing is just the ability to be able to manage other things whilst driving, which obviously was more important in F2 as the strategy becomes a bigger thing. The tires are a bit more complicated, which I think in the new F1 next year, with the new power unit, will be a bigger thing. So for sure, I think if I was going to say one learning, I think that would be the biggest thing I've tried.
And you were granted your super license early at 17. What was your first taste of F1 machinery like on a track? How much of a learning curve was there?
Yeah, it was obviously very grateful to Red Rebel for the help on sort of getting the super license. I mean, the F1 is so fast; it's so much faster than F2. I mean, the step is enormous. That it's hard to choose one thing. I mean, you've got much more power, more grip, better braking. I mean, everything's just happening at twice the speed. So, I mean, my first experience was just wow. It just felt insane and didn't really know how to describe it. I couldn't. It's so much faster than what I was used to that what my brain couldn't compute what the limit was. So it was always about sort of just pushing more than I thought was possible. I think that's sort of my first thing, that I just couldn't believe how much grip and how fast the cars are.
Right. And all focus now switches to Formula One. How are you preparing for your Formula One debut?
I mean, I'm going to do a lot of work with the team, with the engineers on the sim at the factory. It's probably the shortest winter break there's ever been in Formula One, which on one side doesn't help on the preparation, because it's less time. But on the other hand, we have 3 tests, which is going to be, I'm lucky to have that chance, to get more drive time in the car before the first race. So I think the biggest thing is, yeah, like I said, work with the engineers over the winter, and then really trying to utilize those tests to the maximum, to understand as much as I can. It's going to be a steep learning curve. It won't be so I'm going to have to put a lot of work in, and it's not going to be easy, but I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Right. And what goals are you setting for yourself for your rookie season?
I haven't really thought too much about like outcome goals per se, because I think it's very difficult to sort of sit here now, sort of 3-4 months before the first race, and say I want to finish in this place in the championship. So I wouldn't really say I've got any goals like that. I'm just focused on really taking every day, sort of one day at a time, and just really focusing on putting as much effort and work in over these next couple months to be as prepared as possible for the first race, and then we'll see from there.
Thank you so much for joining us. Wishing you good luck for the season ahead, Arvid.
Thank you very much.